Good afternoon, everybody. Apologies that you have to look at my ugly face on a Friday afternoon, that's the last memory you'll have of the week. But after this, you can pour yourself a stiff one and forget you ever saw it, as long as you remember what I say. So let's start off this afternoon with the shout outs. First one, a massive thank you to all staff for making the first couple of days back a memorable one for our students, and just very smooth and without any issues whatsoever. The feedback we've received from families have been overwhelmingly positive, and everybody just praising you for making sure that their children came back home full of stories and full of smiles. So thank you so much for that. Second shout out here is a shout out to Dean and Farmy for once again adapting their planning and their plans and the way that they've been doing things to accommodate both our face-to-face and our online students this week. So thank you. The lessons were once again a big hit with our students, and we're very grateful for that. A big shout out to Miral for all your wonderful help and support with the nursery children. Your support was invaluable. We've got a shout out for Ratna for taking the time to help and guide me with one of your past parents. And this is from Katrina. And then the biggest shout out to Ashley and Malati for working so hard to make nursery a warm and welcoming environment that the children love spending time in. Thank you to you all. Right, there's a, can I give a shout out to all the EYC team for being so brilliant in helping make Sep's first days in reception so amazing. He hasn't stopped talking about how much he loves school and his teachers. So thank you so much for that. You can guess who that shout out is from. This is shout out for Reginda. Thank you so much for your help in reception. You have been a big help this week also, taking on some classes. Thank you so much, Reginda. And then there's a massive shout out to Ashley, angel of all angels, for the lovely treats this morning. So thank you so much, Ashley, for making our day. Now moving on to the briefing items. Only a couple of things. First off, phonics and reading will start in reception next week. So I will share a letter with families from the reception team, just announcing this in the first place, and then sharing some expectations and reminding them about the phonics and reading workshop that Carlotte is leading on Tuesday. Now, speaking of communication with families, our approach has always been, if we communicate anything to the whole school, all of the families, or an entire year group, that email is sent by V after I've checked it. So just make sure that we don't send emails to the whole year group, individual people, so that there's just a consistent approach to this. Of course, any day-to-day communication between class teacher and their class, you can email anything to your class. But if it's something that's related to the whole year group, it's better that we do that as one central communication. Any problems with that or any questions, please just ask and we can clarify. ILD expectations. So on Tuesday, we will have a PDM. We need to have the PDM on data that we didn't have this week. So Tuesday's PDM was, next week's Tuesday's PDM was scheduled for phonics, but we're going to ask that you covered the kind of the refresher phonics things in your meetings next week, and then we'll do a phonics workshop later this term. But the coming Tuesday's PDM, then we'll look at data, but in that PDM, I'll also look at ILD expectations now that we are back face to face, before we share those with families. Then accessing the outdoors. I know that there's been a lot of excitement about being back in school, but I'm sure the children are going to start getting quite sick of the spaces they're in if they're in them all day. So from next week onwards, reception can also access the outdoor spaces, provided that that you have a rota in which a reception class has access to the same space for the entire week, and then that can be on rotation. And then any equipment they use, these need to be sanitized at the end of the day. I think this will be good for the students to get out after their lunch, so that they have some time. And then also, if you want to work out or play into your timetables, then that's an opportunity to do that as well, as long as there's only one class at a time outside. So there's going to have to be some timetabling around that. Then the bikes will not be, we can't access the bikes yet in the outdoors. I think we can try to start doing that after half term. But in the meantime, you can always think creatively and think how you could incorporate the bikes into your provision in your units. So maybe not in your units, maybe in the spaces where they have lunch, maybe in the outdoor gym, any other place where they might, as long as it's the same students from the same class using the bike in that space. Just to kind of keep in line with the SOP and to make sure everything's safe for students. Then you may or may not have seen the email that Michael sent about the campus refresher form. So that refresh form will also apply to EYC. Now, I know we already have action plans in place for things that can improve at EYC, the outdoors, gardening. So those are all things that I will put on there. But if you have any ideas, or if there's anything in your immediate space that you feel needs attention, please make sure that you add it to that form once it comes out. Now, the well-being gesture from Ashley was fantastic this morning, and it was a very generous gesture, and not something we can expect come out of her pocket each time that she does something like this. So we are very grateful for it, but I would like to suggest, seeing that we don't have a staff fund this year, I would like to suggest that we maybe have a well-being kitty. So if we can start by each of us putting in 50 ringgit into this kitty, then for future initiatives like this, Ashley has a pool of cash to dip into. And then we can top it up as we go along, and it doesn't have to be on huge expenditures, huge things to spend money on, but I think it is a good, it was lovely this morning to walk in and see that. So Ashley, I'm sorry I haven't spoken to you about this, but I think it's a good idea. If we keep the money in the safe, and every time that Ashley or anybody wants to suggest an initiative like this, then we can get the money from there, right? So if there are no objections, if you could please hand 50 ringgit to V in the coming weeks, and she will keep a record of that and keep the kitty in the safe, right? Right, with that, I think that's the last thing on the agenda. We will share the meeting notes with you. Oh, one more thing. The slide deck that we used for our goal, the EYC goal, I have linked in the minutes a blank version of that. So if anybody wants to use the same kind of template to collect reflections and evidence for your personal goal, then please do go ahead and use that. If you have any questions about it, let me know, but it's easy to link it to Blue Sky, and you never have to open Blue Sky again once it's linked, and then just do all your reflections here on the template, if you find that easier, right? No expectation that you do it, it's just a suggestion, right? Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely weekend. Dance like nobody's watching. Have a good rest, you deserve it, and I will see you back on Monday.